y'all, it is Hope at Crafty Hope, and I have got my small junk journal here. If you'll remember, if you haven't seen it, I had a whole series where I was working through this junk journal, but kind of got burnt out on it a little and decided I wanted to work in some of my other journals. And now that I've kind of realized how many journals I have in progress, I'm trying to swap through them. So trying not to stick to one too much and hopefully finish some of them at some point. So decided to grab this little one and see what I could do in it. This page is just a piece of scrapbook paper. It's just some black and white dotted scrapbook paper, and I wasn't in love with it. Now, I didn't hate it, but it's just not what I wanted, and I knew I wanted to put some spray inks on my page and some other wet media, and so I wanted to kind of give another layer of something on here to make sure it was plenty thick enough to take what I was going to throw at it. So I'm starting by collaging some things down. You see I've got my little collage box there with all of my different ephemera and book pages and handwritten letters and whatever else. I think there's a piece there you'll see at the bottom that is, it's not jelly printing, it's where I brayer off my brayer into a dictionary, and I get all kinds of fun little papers that way. So that was in my little collage box, so I tore a little piece of that, and I'm just gluing this all down with my glue stick. I reach over here and you'll see I'll come back. If you saw, I don't know if it's my last video or the one before, where I used some rusty stuff to do a journal page. So that was one of my little rusty papers that I had sitting there, torn off and left over. And this is a fun little piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper that says Bulletin 1, or Bulletin number 1 rather, on it. And I thought that was kind of funny. And you can still kind of see it here at the end of the page. It was an actual typed something. So, and there I've got, it's a piece of some of the rust-dyed fabric that was also left over, just a little tiny strip that I thought, I always seem to add fabric as a backing thing and not as an element just on the page. And I've seen other artists kind of throw little bits of paper in there, and so that's what I thought I was going to do, and it is the backer in the end. It really worked perfectly for how this came together. I'll try to use it as textured later, I guess. So once I got everything down, I'm going to make sure everything's kind of secure and on the page and everything. You'll see I didn't cover the whole page. Up there on the left, there's kind of an exposed corner. You can still see that black and white up there, and it does bother me a little that you can see that, and I try to fix it later, but it's not completely effective. Now, I did pick out, I wouldn't say it was a color palette, but I picked out some sprays and inks and paints and whatever to try on this. So this is a Lindy Spray, and I think it's some kind of rose colored, and then it's a yellow, but it's golden sleigh bells, so it's kind of a gold yellow, and both of them have a touch of a sparkle to them, which ends up being like one of my favorite things about this page is the sparkle that you kind of see here at the end of this. It's I don't know, I love it. So you see I just sprayed both of those colors down, and I'm just taking a wet paintbrush and just kind of moved that around. I don't know why I decided to soak it up. I guess I wanted to get some of the wet up, but I'll use that little sliver of paper later. Now that is a Distress Spray in tea dye. Now it's got a great rust color. Normally I'm not a huge fan of the tea dye color in the stamps, but here in the spray, it definitely has like a yummy rustiness to it. Now they do have Rusty Hinge too, and I've got that spray as well. But for some reason, I grabbed this tea dye. It was kind of, I don't even know what colors. I was trying to go with pinks and yellows, and I don't know what I was going with. But that was a nice little, what I thought was going to be neutral. But it ended up adding that yummy rusty, which is fine, always fine. And then I grabbed that Amsterdam ink. The color is weird. It's like light red, yellow, something. But it's just kind of a really light pink color. And then I've got that kind of light teal, what is that? Acrylic paint. And I'm just wetting both of those and letting them drip and blend, and I don't know, I was playing. I wanted to see how these different things kind of went together. So you may have just heard the dog ring the bell, so you may hear the door and all of that, because my husband's probably got to take her outside. Yeah, she rings the bell to let us know she needs to go outside, because she doesn't let us know otherwise. So at least she was able to learn to ring a bell. So I did sop up a little bit of the color there with just a piece of dictionary paper, and then I'm going to go ahead and dry it before I do anything else stupid, like pull all the color up. And you'll see I pulled out that Tim Holtz Botanicals pack. I picked that up a couple weeks ago. I don't even remember. It could have been last year. I don't know. And I've been kind of holding on to it. So I kind of knew I wanted to dip into that since I haven't used it at all, and see if I could, find something that would work. And I absolutely do, y'all. But first, I wanted to pull out a little more white on the page. So I've got just some Deco Arts Media gesso and a palette knife, and I am putting down just the smallest smidgen of gesso there, just to, like I said, brighten that up just a smidge, and I don't know, make it happy. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I felt like it needed some more movement, I think, and so I'm just got a pencil and I'm doing a little bit of scribbling. Nothing really fantastic, just needed some kind of movement there. So now I'm going to grab, and see, one thing fell out, and I was like, oh, is that it? Is that going to be the thing that I want to add to this page? But no, he was too dark. So I'm instead trying to just kind of, I haven't really even looked through this pack. I opened it, but I never really sorted through things. So you see, I'm just kind of flipping through it, and those pink Gerber daisies there caught my attention immediately. As soon as I saw them, I was like, hey, what are those? So I love daisies. I love the simplicity of them and kind of the wildflowerness of them. So not usually pink, but for some reason, since I had that kind of pink Lindy spray in there, I think I was kind of feeling pink and girly. So I grabbed that, and I grabbed some Distress ink in walnut stain and was just going to ink up the edges. So that's why I start doing, but I'm a messy edge inker. So the ink was kind of getting on the top of those flowers, and you see me, I'm trying to brush it off kind of in the process, but I still want the edges inked because I want that to make sure that I didn't really care for the white edging on the outside of that. So I wanted to make sure I had, I don't know, it had plenty of shadow and kind of stood out. But in doing it, I realized I kind of liked the rustic aged feel that the flowers had when that Distress ink got on them. So I just rubbed it over the whole thing, and then inked the edges again to give it, still have that shadow. But see there, I'm getting that ink over there, and it does, it gives them kind of a yellowed aged feel. It's fabulous. So, and I didn't want to just glue them flat down on the page, so, because I thought they really needed to stand up. So I go grab some, what is that, foam tape, that double-sided foam tape stuff to help them stand up. And I'm just sticking a couple pieces down. I'm going to cut a couple down to size to make sure that the bottom half there with the stem and the leaves and all, that it stands up nicely too. So, and this stuff's great for just giving a little more dimension to your pieces. So sometimes I'm a little worried about adding too much dimension in an art journal, because then I'm afraid they won't close and I won't get to finish them all. But I really haven't had that problem yet, and I think, I don't know. How will I know if it's a problem until I find out if it's a problem? So I need to do it more. I need to add more dimension to stuff. So anyway, I have gotten those flowers stuck down, and then I realized I needed more shadow. I added the ink. I gave them that lift. They've got plenty of shadow, but I really wanted it nice and dark on the outside. So I grabbed my Stabilo Woody in brown. And instead, because I know it's too fat to go around just the edges where I want it, I'm just using my paintbrush, and it's a wet paintbrush, and I'm getting the color straight off the end of my crayon. So, and that works perfect. It's one of those things that I'm sure I will use again and again. So, and I don't know, I think I've had those woodies now. What did I get them for? I bought them in like November for like a birthday present to myself, and I haven't tried them in all the ways I think they can be used. So I'm gonna try to play with them some more. So I know this needed a little bit of a phrase. And you see me, I'm really struggling with finding words. I've got these 2 pages and I'm like, they've got to work. There's got to be things on them. One of the pages was all about how crazy somebody's mama was, and I just didn't think that was right for this page. So the other one, I can't remember what it was all about, but there was a couple really good phrases on it. I'm all about words, y'all. I've got an obsession with words and language and how words help or hurt and all of that. And so I was looking for something that, I don't know, that just stood out to me, but at the same time would work. So I found this phrase that's in the shadows, and since I had added so much shadow and I had all this yummy brown and awesomeness to it, I thought, well, that'll work. And so that's what I went with. And then I took a little bit more of that. Is that stuff? Walnut Stain Distress ink. It says it right there. Y'all can see it. I can see it. It's right there. And I put that around the edges just to give it its own shadow, I suppose. So, and then I'm just going to glue it down with the Oohoo glue stick right on that little piece of fabric. Like I said, I don't know. At some point, I'll put fabric in there that's not, used to elevate things. So then I felt like the whole page just needed to be darkened a little, like some of the white spots were too white. So I'm taking that brown woody and going around the outside, and I end up just going around most of the page. I thought I was just going to hit a couple spots that were too white where the gesso was. Nah, I'm going to go around the whole place. And you see up there, I'm trying to cover up where that black was. I didn't, it's not completely covered, but it's fine. It really, it's not what stands out on the page. So here I'm looking at it and I go, oh, no, that side needs it too. So I end up just, yeah, the whole thing just gets framed out. So, and that's it for this page, guys. It is, I've got to tell you, one of my absolute most favorite pages I've ever made. I love that little bit of sparkle, the little bit of aging, my favorite flowers, daisies. It's just really yummy. So I hope you liked it too. And if you liked it, definitely give me that thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and let me know if you have any questions. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.